I've given up waiting for the Wales team. It's been a couple of hours since Simon Easterby named his Ireland squad for the trip to the Principality Stadium to play against Wales in the Six Nations as it returns this weekend. And I can't wait any longer. I need to talk about this team because there's so much to talk about. So I will return with another video once the Welsh team is announced and I'll look a bit more at the game and the matchups. But let's just enjoy this for a second. Quietly, just a few questions. Is Simon Easterby quietly doing a brilliant job? I really like the changes and the thought behind the changes, which I want to get into on this video. Are Ireland, can anyone stop them? Because even with some significant names absent and some significant changes made, it still looks pretty scary. Particularly when you look at a guy like Bundy Aki on the bench. Oh yeah, we just got Bundy on the bench. Like this absolute beast of a player, he's going to have all that energy and he's just going to have to cram it into a 20-30 minute window. He's going to be like a caged beast. They're going to take the chains off him and let him loose. I'd be a bit scared if I was a Wales fan. Are Wales the new Italy? That's another question. Is Wales the team where people make their changes and give experience to youngsters? It was always the case, like Craig Casey would get his one game of the Six Nations against Italy. But now it might be the case that the youngsters get their game against Wales, which is certainly what's happening. Look at the freshness in that Ireland squad. You've got, effectively, and this is the frightening part from an Ireland and a Leinster perspective, you've effectively got the Leinster third choice front row in the matchday squad, with Jack Boyle on the bench, with Gus McCarthy on the bench, and Thomas Clarkson getting a start ahead of Finlay Bealham. This feels like these aren't massive changes, but they feel really significant. The absence of Cian Healy on the bench feels big. I think it's probably, of all of the selections, that might be the one that I would imagine, and certainly if I were Irish, it'd be the one I'd be most pleased with. I'd be interested to know. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Give the video a thumbs up while you're there as well. But I've been watching in recent games through the autumn, through the first two rounds of the Six Nations, and seeing Cian Healy get a token 5 minutes at the end of a match. And look, the guy's an absolute hero. What a legend. One of the greatest. But what's the point in having a guy of his age getting 5 minutes at the end of a match when you could be giving valuable minutes to a guy that will be there at the 2027 World Cup and beyond? And I'm so pleased that Jack Boyle is getting that opportunity in this game. And I think it's really smart. And to come back to the point I made where I think Simon Easterby is quietly doing a brilliant job. The composition of the front row to start and on the bench, I'm really impressed with, because what you've got is you've got Thomas Clarkson being given the best opportunity to go and do what he's capable of doing, putting him in a starting lineup alongside Andrew Porter and Dan Sheehan, two proper experienced players, likely Test Lions starters. He's with that calibre of a player. And then equally, what he could quite easily have done, Simon Easterby, is go, oh, well, Thomas Clarkson's less experienced, we'll put him on the bench. But then you would have had Gus McCarthy, Jack Boyle and Thomas Clarkson all on the bench together. Instead, he's gone, no, let's put a fresh face with two experienced guys, and let's put Finlay Bealham, who's really experienced now and has been doing great in this Six Nations Championship, and let's have him with a couple of younger guys to provide a bit of experience and steel coming off the bench. I just think it's a really simple, subtle thing, but I really like that. And I can't, speaking of front row, can't go any further without talking about Captain Dan. What a moment for him. I love that. It could quite easily have just deferred the captaincy to Peter O'Mahony, who's done it before. But I love the selection of Dan Sheehan. It just feels right. Keith Wood, Rory Best, some great Ireland captains have worn the 2 jersey. Dan Sheehan is talismanic on the field. Let's see what he's like as a leader. I'm really looking forward to hearing him speak. And the pack, there are 4 changes overall. Joe McCarthy coming in with James Ryan onto the bench. Good to see Joe McCarthy. Brilliant options that Ireland have got. And Jack Conan, who's been absolutely tearing it up off the bench. Been playing so well. And what an able deputy when your captain and talismanic player is unavailable. To have someone of the calibre and experience. I mean, the number 8 starting Test Lion on the last British and Irish Lions tour. That's the guy you've got to come in for your captain, which is quite something. As for the back line, you have got Jamie Osborne starting at fullback. Great experience for him. Hugo Keenan resting it up, keeping his powder dry for the big France match. And you're just showing off with those centres. You're showing off Simon Easterby. You're showing off Ireland. It's like what they do. I mean, he's clearly taking it in turns. Oh yeah, we've done Robbie and Bundy. Let's do Robbie and Gary now, and we'll do Bundy and Gary again next one, and then that probably is what they're going to do. For France, I imagine it would be Bundy Aki and Gary Ringrose. But I mean, it's just not fair. What they should do, really, I think it would be only fair, is even on the match day, maybe even when you do the press conference to announce the team, Simon Easterby should just properly show off and just put like some balls in a tombola with Bundy Aki, Robbie Henshaw and Gary Ringrose's name. Chuck them in the tombola. Give it a spin. Reach in. Today we're playing Robbie and Gary. Just do it like that. Just properly show off. 3 great options. And do you know what the good thing about that is? And again, the smartness of this selection with one of them being on the bench and 2 of them starting and rotating it like that is you're going to get more life out of all of them. You're going to lengthen their careers. And if you want to make sure that all 3 of them get to the 2027 World Cup, that's the way to do it, I guess. And the one person I was expecting to maybe see was Kieran Frawley. What's the story with him in the picture? Not even like a 23 jersey. I did also think maybe Jack Crowley would get the start this week. But again, I quite like that when you are making some changes, one in the midfield, one at fullback, keep everything else the same. When you're making a change at second row, back row, front row, keep everything else the same. And that's enabling the maximum amount of cohesiveness and continuity match to match, which I really like, whilst also getting minutes and experience. But yeah, it's interesting. Kieran Frawley, I mean, he was the absolute hero. I was out in Durban in South Africa and watched that drop goal to win the match with the final kick. And then it was like, oh, who's going to be the 10 for Ireland? Is it Frawley or Crowley? Now, Frawley's completely off the radar, in the squad, but off the radar. And how could I forget? I'm talking about the bench. How could I forget this far without talking about Cian Prendergast? It's obviously like a quota of Cians. You're only allowed 1. So Cian Healy dropped out. Cian Prendergast, you get your chance now. We can have 1 Cian in the team. And no, that's I'm really pleased for him. I mean, Cormac Izachukwu out as well, gave him an opportunity, but Cian Prendergast has been knocking on the door. He's not been far off. It's testament to the strength of the Irish back rows. But sometimes all you need is an opportunity, and he's got that opportunity today. I can't see a Wales win. I can see Wales, a bit of a rally from Wales, and I can see an improved performance, and I can see the crowd properly getting behind them, the roof being on, the atmosphere being like a cauldron, and Wales bringing some energy. Ultimately, I think the quality across the park is just too good. But I don't think it will be a 43 points to 0 like it was away in France for Wales. I think they'll do a better job than that. But I think Ireland that's the great thing. The systems are so ingrained. The fact you have got, and I guess this is one thing, again, let me know. Ireland fans, would you like to see, I'm sure you would like to see more of a spread through the provinces. What is it? In the matchday 23, 15 Leinstermen, 3 Munstermen, 4 guys from Connacht, and have I got that right? I must have missed one. Anyway, and none from Ulster. So I'm 1 short there, so I've got my numbers wrong. But you get the point. It's massively weighted towards Leinster, which on the one hand is not ideal. You'd like to see it spread a little bit more evenly, just kind of the whole 4 proud provinces and all that. But on the flip side is the cohesion that you get from that is extraordinary, and it's very, very rare, and it's one of the secrets behind Ireland's success. So I guess it swings and roundabouts on that front. There you go, just some thoughts as we wait for the Wales team to be announced. I'll be back with more videos on the channel. Cannot wait for the Six Nations to return. Please hit subscribe if you haven't already. I would love to earn your subscription. I'll see you on the next one.